The Parable of the Lily by Liz Curtis Higgs, illustrated by Nancy Munger. Hi. In our story today, our main character, Maggie, gets a gift that she didn't really know what to do with, and she kind of forgot about it. And the reason that this is an Easter story is sometimes we think about Jesus that way. God gave us his son. Remember back at Christmas time, we talked about this special baby that was born, Jesus, and we sang him happy birthday. And we celebrate Jesus's birthday at Christmas. And then at Easter, we celebrate how Jesus is alive and how God gave us his son as that gift. And so this story is to remind us how special that gift is. I hope you enjoy it. One wintry day, the farmer's young daughter shuffled through the snow, headed for the mailbox at the end of the lane. Brr! It was cold. She peered inside the mailbox and found a small white envelope. Surprise! It was addressed to her. It's so fun to get something in the mail. Dear Maggie, the letter began, I'm sending a very special gift just for you. Look for it soon. Maggie loved getting presents, especially a gift as mysterious as this one. When would it come? Who was it from? What would it be? The farmer's daughter waited and waited, some days patiently, some days not so patiently. Then one very ordinary afternoon, a box appeared on her doorstep. The gift had arrived. The farmer watched as his daughter excitedly tore off the wrapping paper. He was eager to see what she thought of her present. But Maggie didn't say a word. She just stared at the small wooden crate full of dirt. Dirt was not at all what Maggie had hoped for. Poking out of the soil was a small piece of paper that told Maggie how to care for her gift. Hide it in a cool, dark place. Water as needed, and when spring comes, bring it into the light. Then she knew it must be a growing thing, like a bulb that would someday bloom into a plant. Oh dear, her long-awaited gift wasn't a toy or a doll or a game after all. The farmer could see that his daughter was very disappointed. His heart grew sad. The gift was from him. With a sigh, Maggie carried the wooden box down the steps into the darkest corner of the cellar and left it there on a shelf. Sometimes she remembered to water it, but most of the time Maggie just plain forgot. The farmer did not forget. He just waited and he watched. Spring came at last. The air was warmer and the gray skies had melted into robin egg blue. What a welcome the sight the sun was. It was time for the farmer to hoe his garden, getting the soil ready for the seeds that filled his pockets. Maggie wanted to help, so she marched down the cellar steps to get her own Maggie-sized gardening tools. And that's when it happened. Searching for her toolbox in the darkest corner of the cellar, Maggie knocked the forgotten crate of dirt off the shelf. Crash! The crate splintered into pieces. Soil was everywhere, and the flower bulb that rolled to her feet showed no signs of life. What a mess! Maggie was mad at the box and even madder at herself. She swept up the dirt and threw away the broken box, grumbling under her breath. And that old ugly flower bulb, well, she just tossed it out the cellar door, never to think of it again. Till Maggie woke up earlier than usual Easter morning. A warm breeze blew through her bedroom window and the chirping birds seemed to call her name. Still dressed in her nightgown, Maggie tiptoed out into the garden. She was hoping to find some daffodils or tulips to decorate the table for Easter breakfast. That's when she saw it. The loveliest lily that God ever made was blooming on the edge of her father's flower garden. Its white petals unfolded like a trumpet. Its leaves were green with new life. Its scent was as fragrant as the most expensive perfume. Maggie knew all at once what had happened. She didn't know whether to laugh or to cry or shout with joy. So Maggie did all three at once. "Wake up, everybody, wake up! Come see, the gift is alive!" Her family hurried out to the garden. They couldn't believe their eyes. So much beauty from such an ugly box of dirt. Maggie noticed the farmer standing in the doorway quietly watching. His smile gave away his secret. "Father, it was you who gave me the lily." Maggie squealed with delight. Suddenly, her little girl smile began to fade. Oh dear, she'd thrown away her father's gift without so much as even a thank you. Oh, how that must have hurt him. "I'm sorry, Daddy," she said, putting her little arms around his big waist. "Will you forgive me?" "Oh, my child," the farmer whispered, hugging her tight. "That's what Easter is all about." Isn't that a neat story? The Bible says this is how God shows his love to us. He sent his son to the world that we might live through him. It's 1 John 4, verse 9. Happy Easter. I hope you take some time to remember this wonderful gift that God has given us, his son. The song that goes with that Bible verse, I learned it when I was a kid. I don't know the music for it, so I can't play it. But it goes like this. This is how God showed his love. This is how God showed his love among us. He sent his one and only Son into the world that we might live through him. Into the world that we might live through him. We can do it together. This is how God showed his love. This is how God showed his love among us. He sent his one and only Son into the world that we might live through him. Into the world that we might live through him. 1 John 4, verse 9. That also was part of the song, but I can't remember how it went. Anyway,